Welcome to part 15 of Mario, Luigi, and Gary. In the last part, we ridded Gusty Gulch of the Phantom Mages, and we've made our way to Tubba Blubba's castle. The door's locked, but we found another way to get in. Ashley taught Gary how to shrink down using magic. Yay her for actually teaching us something. When you've shrunken down, you can revert back. You can't revert back, though, if you're in like an enclosed space. The basement of Tubba Blubba's castle has a surprisingly big waterway. It's also got some new enemies. Here's a couple of buzzy beetles. Aside from their creepy, disturbing smiles, they've also got a move that can put you to sleep. Huh, we've encountered the first enemy immune to pink. This would be the sleep move I was talking about. Jumping works on them, but they've still got a pretty good defense. Unfortunately, they're also resistant to hammer. Sucks to be Gary right now, but it does remind me to do something when the battle's over. They're not too hard, but I did grind a bit. This watery percussive sounding tune came from Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. We're supposed to get into that pipe, but we can't right now. We need to get some sort of switch or something activated to cross that. Oh cool, Gary's got access to In the Pink 2 now. We're gonna be losing it pretty shortly though, because I'm gonna switch attack badges to Quake Hammer. Quake Hammer allows Gary to do an Earth Elemental magic attack on all enemies that are ground bound. It works quite well on the buzzy beetles. And we'll be able to test it out right now. It takes 15 flower points to use, but I think it's pretty worth it for at least this part of the game. I may want to check out how much damage Surly Squall does to these things, if any. Anesthesia also deals damage. Gary's doing a pretty good job dodging those shell attacks, though. Aha, they don't like that too much. The magic shot attack for Ashley's pretty reliable. Ironically, the baddies down here may be less of a pain in the ass than the baddies outside. And we're introduced to a new baddie. These things are known as Cursias. They've made an appearance in Super Paper Mario, and they've made an appearance here. They've kind of got a radioactive glow there. That screwed him up pretty good. Bioblast is a special magic attack they have. It's a hit-all attack that deals poison. Jump doesn't work on them, but then again, Jump didn't work on them in their original game either. Projectiles seem to be doing a pretty good job though. Ashley has the Feelin' Fine badge equipped, so she doesn't have to worry too much about this. There really isn't very much that Stanley can do against Cursias. There's a switch over here. As far as gimmick similarity goes, the violet laser kind of acts like the shell of Cooper or Koops. That must mean the way forward is open. This place isn't without gaps for Stanley to leap across, of course. I spy a star piece, but we can't get it yet. Okay, so we're here now. Not exactly sure where here is. Well, I know, but you guys don't. That's what he said? Afraid Gary can't return to his normal size. Not in this place, it's too small. Originally, I had Tiny Gary move even slower than this, but it was really annoying for me. So I'd assume that it'd be annoying for other players as well. Looks like we've got another pack of buzzy beetles, complete with creepy glow-in-the-dark eyes and disturbing Cheshire smiles. Ugh, Stanley doesn't need to be puked on, thanks. Time for a Quake Hammer clear-out. Way to work that pretty lucky badge. Ah, there we go. These special tricks we're doing do drain on the flower points, though. We've got like 60 of these things, so we may as well use a few. Battles here are next to impossible to avoid. Fortunately, they're fairly easy to dispatch. We just can't touch them. I think I'm gonna try Surly Squall on them. If it works, it'll make Gary and Stanley's attacks pretty redundant. What with the 0 damage and all. Aw, Gary's got an upset tummy. I suppose it'll teach you not to swallow all of the goo that gets splattered on your face. As long as we got the syrup, Ashley's a game breaker right now. That grate over there is the way out. We could take it right now, but we'll be missing out on some badges and some star pieces. I'm not complaining about a cake mix. There's a secret area here, too. There's also an enemy in here. If we engage them while tiny, it doesn't change anything. A buzzy beetle and a Cursia working in cahoots. If it hits, it'll one-shot him. There's no worry here, especially when under the influence of Power Rush. In fact, Gary might want to consider healing himself. Okie doke, now let's check out those items. I'm afraid you can't do any other field stuff while you're tiny. There's 100 coins I won't have to spend in the future. And there's a new badge. The Lock Stomp badge does the usual jump damage, but it also has a chance to lock the enemy. When we were super briefly controlling Mario, he already had the badge mastered. Blocking's a pretty good strategy to use on enemies that use a lot of special powerful moves. Since Stanley just recently mastered Multi-Stomp, let's chuck on Lock Stomp. True to most mazes, if you take the first path that you see, you'll eventually be able to cover the whole thing. We'll pretty much have to do this if we want to get everything down here. We don't need to see our heroes go through the tunnel a second time. Let's squash this thing first. I spy a new enemy. This is a combat. These things appeared in Yoshi's story. Since they fly hammers out, fortunately they're not immune to pink the way the buzzy beetles are. That noisy attack is their special move. It deals damage and has the chance to lock. I guess another noteworthy thing is that combats are a little more durable. Time for some fancy flying. Poor Stanny got himself locked, but that's not going to affect him much. Hammer ain't gonna cut it. Show off those Donkey Kong 3 jumping skills. There's a Cursia over here. Pardon me for just a second, sweetie. Okie dokie, so we've got 3 more. Easy pickings. We may just go on autopilot and let Ashley field this one. Oh yes, use your super broken lightning powers. Consider that practice for later. Sorry dude, no sale. And that's how we clear a room. Sweet, I think that's the rare drop for them. After a fight, they may drop either a common item or a rare one. I think for them, a maple syrup's only like a 1.5% chance. Another beetle and bat. We should be able to dispatch him fairly quick. Time for some ametophilia. Stanley does not want. Noise Blaster's kinda damaging. One screechy freak down, but the Joker Beetle's still standing. Gary ain't down with your weird fetish either, dude. He finds it quite boring. So much for that. Time to give a teenage girl a little sugar. This again? Well, we've dealt with them before, let's deal with them again. Hey, combat's using its regular attack for once. You can tell the Buzzy Beetle's dexterity isn't all that great. Something in an armored shell would be better at defense anyway, provided our team doesn't gang up on it. You know, we've been fighting these guys for a while. I'm wondering when we'll level up. Its magic defense isn't too fantastic. Each projectile seems to be doing about 40 damage. A winner is us. And we leveled up too, well, 2 of us. Geez, these sewers are a long haul, aren't they? A super mushroom's always appreciated since we've got 100 HP now. And it's always nice to get an earthquake. Earthquakes are superior to POW blocks in every way. And I think that's pretty much it for the circuit. There's one more area we haven't explored yet. It's up here, but I'll save you guys the backtracking. There's a star piece up here, but we're gonna have to shrink down to get through that grate. Getting sick of this mechanic yet? Well, don't worry too much about it. This gimmick doesn't show up that often in the game. There's 2 more star pieces we have to get down here, and I think they're all along the path that I'm on. Down this path here are a couple of nice goodies. I also think this is the other side of where we first came in. I think we just got challenged by something. A combat and 2 Buzzy Beetles this time. I think it's worth using multi-stomp this time around. Quit it, Stan doesn't like loud noises. I probably should have just blew these guys away with Surly Squall. Durnburn airborne enemies. You had one job. Looking back on it, I wonder why I didn't go with the swooper instead. They're probably a lot easier for Mario fans to identify. Good night, thank you, and good night. Whoa, it's the first time any of them ever said anything to me. Oh dear, I was wrong. Looks like we've got a little further to go. There's the second star piece. Violet laser, away! Now I think we're at the beginning point. Occasionally he'll do that instead of his normal casting pose. Don't ask me why. Sometimes a hole in a bathroom stall is just a hole in the bathroom stall. It doesn't hurt to check though, on both this and that. Just kidding. Took us a billion years to get here, but there's 2 good things here. A star piece and a badge. This would be the star piece. And this here is the badge. This is the Happy Heart badge. If you wear it or master it, there's a chance you'll recover a little bit of your health each turn in combat. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to use it right now. Especially not Ashley right now. The very second that Gary's finished with the Happy Flower badge, it's going right on Ashley. Anything to curb the flower point guzzling. Okay, so we're in the area of the waterway with the grate that leads upward. Yes, honey, we know that. Following this upward drainage path will lead us right to the castle. I just hope no one flushes the toilet during the time being. After all, toilets exist in this game. And not just plot devices we use to warp ourselves to another toilet? That happened in Thousand Year Door, by the way. That's messed up. And here we are in what appears to be a kitchen. In the next part, we'll be conducting our assault on the castle. Thank you guys very much for watching and for putting up with all that sewer travel. If you like the series, subscribe so you'll be able to see more. In any case, I gotta let you guys go. See you later, everyone.